Okay, I'm back. Part 3. Oh no, here comes the X. Like I said, I read this book. I say it could have been about a year ago, or it could have been earlier this year, or the later part of last year. But anyway, I went through the 7-week program, and like I said, I got myself to a point of forgiveness and moving forward. I had forgiven his father. My son was seeing him again. And when I started talking to him again after months of no communication, I mean, it got so bad. His father had even called and tried to do what he can to get us talking again, because I was completely done with his father. I mean, he had done and said some things to me to the point where I'm like, that's it, and he really wasn't in my son's life like he should have been. But I went through all this. I didn't talk to him for months. I mean, months. No communication, nothing. So anyway, I had worked through this, and we had got back in touch with each other through my son's grandfather, which is his father's father. And he apologized to me and everything for his son, I guess. But anyway, I went through the 7-week thing, and I realized that I needed to let go, and I needed to move on, and I needed to stop being angry, because it was only hurting me. His father had moved on with his life, had, I guess was seeing other people and everything, and he didn't care. He didn't care that I was sitting up hurting and all that. So it was something that I knew I needed to do for myself, and that is something that's not really easy for me. I think just, I don't know how much you believe in signs. I don't know how much I really believe either, but I know as a Scorpio, we have a really, really hard time with forgiveness, especially when somebody has hurt us really, really bad. So that's something I struggled with. I struggled with it. And then plus with the upbringing of, you're the victim type thing. But anyway, I went through the program, and me and his father got back in contact with each other, and at that time he had, basically told me that he's been doing some soul searching, and he's been reading the Bible every day, and he was really sorry for all the stuff that he did. So we tried to we worked out a plan for my son to start seeing him again, which I was really leery about, because I'm like, I don't want my son to get attached to him again, and he starts disappearing from his life and hurting him and stuff. So anyway, I just took things slowly, and he would come and get my son consistently, like he said he would. He seemed to genuinely be sorry for what he was doing, and it was like I was kind of noticing a change in him, but there was times that, so I had already moved on from this book, and I've been reading these other things dealing with finances and stuff like that, and I will mention the names, and these are 2 books that I definitely want to deal with also, because they have changed my life in the area of finance, and in the area of working on my character, which it's The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Love this book. It's one of the books where all the other stuff like The Secret sprang from. And then I discovered he had another book called The Science of Being Great, and I'm definitely going to talk about that later too, but I just want to throw that in there because I have been listening to The Science of Being Great, and it really was helping me work on my character and who I am to be to mankind, and who mankind is to me. So, but anyway, I brought that in because as I was taking my son over to his father's house, there were moments when I would make a harsh comment to him, and and he said to me, "You know what, Zipporah, you haven't changed." He said, "You still, saying these hurtful things to me." And, when he said that, I felt really bad. I'm like, because I'm supposed to be, have been working on myself through this thing, but yet, obviously, some pain was still there, because I did make, sorry, my tape ran out. There's obviously was still some hurt there, because I did make a a terrible comment that a person who has forgiven should not have done, I guess. So I went home and I'm thinking about this. I'm like, oh Lord. So something, I just said to myself, you know what? I'm going to give him a copy of The Science of Getting Rich, which I was reading, and or listen to the audio. I got the audio books too, and the thing. And I said, I'm going to give that to him because that's something that means so much to me. And I guess in my mind, it was saying that if I'm giving this to you and I'm trying to help you create a better life for yourself, then that's a sign that I no longer hate you and that I'm wishing you the best. And, you know, this is something that's doing so much for me. I'm giving it to you. So, and I've given him stuff before in the past, you know, 8 years or whatever, because I've always been into self-help stuff, and he never listened to anything. He never, if he did, he'll listen to it once, maybe a couple of the chapters, and then he never do anything before. So I never expected him to read it or listen to the I'm sorry, I gave him an audiobook. I didn't expect him to listen to it or anything. So I did that to me, for me, so I can feel like I did do the forgiveness and stuff like that. So, but to my surprise, he actually listened to the audiobooks and, you know, started calling me and actually talking to me about it. And this was the trap, I guess. It felt good because, you know, I have been into these things, you know, for some time, or in self-improvement and stuff. And I usually don't share it because, you know, my family, you know, I'm kind of like just surrounded by family right now. I'm just moving back. I've been back to Chicago for about a year, so I'll get into that later about why I did talk to you guys about isolation. So it's like now that I'm coming back, it's almost like I have to meet people all over again, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult for me to do that with my son's condition of autism. I you know, tend to take him places, and then he acts in a manner that people don't, well, the people that I've been around don't want to deal with. So I'm actually in the process of trying to join clubs and stuff with or meetings and stuff of women with children with disabilities, so that I can, you know, be around them and don't have to hear, oh, he's doing this, he's doing that. But that hasn't happened yet. I'm still trying to build friends. So having him listen to something that inspired me so much, and actually having somebody to talk to with it, you know, it was a joy to me, because it's like, you know, when you have something so powerful that's changing your life, but then when you give it to people and they don't even listen to it, or as the case with, I have a brother who's, you know, very, very religious, and I'm a God-fearing person too. We were brought up in the same religion or whatever, but he doesn't, I think, believe in listening to anything outside of the Bible, whereas I'm totally different. I'm very open, and I see God everywhere and in everything. So, but that's just me. So, like I said, the only person I gave the tape to that listened to it was my mom, and me. So me and her was talking too, but not so much, because she's in the middle of, she just bought a house and she's in the middle of fixing it up. So sometimes she's over there building all day and don't get home tonight. But when she could, she would call me. But here, my son's father was, you know, he was talking to me about it every day, and I was just so like, wow, you know, I got somebody to talk to. And, you know, our whole relationship, I had been in his life and music and stuff like that. He's never been really interested in anything on my side of the on my side. So I was preparing my website and preparing my clothing thing, and I had some models, and like I mentioned in the earlier video, I had my plans, and life had something else. Just when I'm ready to launch everything, a lot of my models started having problems. I started having problems with my photographer. I mean, things just started going. So anyway, to make a long story short, one day his father came over here, and he was bringing my son back, or picking him up, one of the two. and I'm just bursting into tears because here I am, trying to launch something, and my girls didn't show up or whatever. So, and the person that was supposed to film wasn't here, and I'm just crying, and here he is, like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm trying to launch this, and everybody's not here, and just. So anyway, to make a long story short, he was like, you know what, I can help you. He started videotaping for me. And so, I mean, anyway, to make a long story short, this just caused the recent problem, because now we're talking on a spiritual level of things that I care about. And now he's over here helping me videotape and just really being here. So, what happened, this time is about to run out. I'm going to be back.